Greetings from the beautiful South Island of New Zealand, and obviously the T6 Texan II by Iris Simulations. Responsible for already giving us a PC-21, Iris have done it yet again with their rendition of the Western competitor. The PT6 powered cadet trainer is the last step for pilots before getting into a jet. Accordingly, it has amazing maneuverability, and it's still pretty fast. Iris have done a really good job at building that flight model, and I love the paint schemes. They really bring out the realistic visuals, but the way it feels in the air when you're flying it is the real treat. It's my new favorite formation flying trainer, and in this video that's exactly what I'm going to be doing as a two-ship flight from Queenstown to perhaps the most beautiful airport in Flight Simulator, Milford Sound. But first of all, it's into the cockpit for one of the easiest startups, considering how complex this aircraft actually is after reading that novel of an aircraft flight manual. Luckily, Iris have been good enough to also include an abbreviated checklist to get us up and running in literally 30 seconds if you want to get out of there in a hurry. When you spawn in, the cockpit will actually be automatically closed, but the canopy will be unlocked, so do make sure that it is in the locked position, otherwise the plane will let you know you forgot it. Proceeding through the checklist, we remove our safety pins for the canopy ejection system as well as the seat ejection system and switch our battery on. And then we move over to the ECAS and go over to our configuration tab and switch our GPU on as well, the ground power unit, and here it is actually. Alright, next on the checklist is going to be a flight control check. Our ailerons looking good, free and correct, as well as our elevator and rudder looking good. And now we're going to be heading down to do a emergency systems check. First we'll check our lighting for Fire 1, looking good, and now Fire 2 as well. Yep, bottom light is on now. Perfect, and now we'll just test the lamps as well, looking good, everything lit up. Flaps set to up. Trim operation looking good. Setting our comms right down there on the right side. The defog switch should be off, however that part of the instrument panel is in op unfortunately. ELT switch to arm, reset our parking brake, remove our wheel chocks. They are set to auto. If you remove the parking brake they are automatically removed, but we'll go ahead and set that to removed as well. Ram airflow set as required, internal lighting set as required, PCL switch to start. We'll check our prop area, looking good. And we just switch at starter switch to auto start and watch that prop spin up. That's a really cool sound hearing that turbo spool up like that. Next we're going to head down to the PCL and click it one more time to set it into its operational position. We'll go into our ECAS configuration one more time, make sure our GPU is disconnected. And we'll go ahead and head down to the generator and auxiliary battery switch and switch those on. Head over to our bleed air inflow, switch that to normal. Now we're going to be taking a look outside at our speed brake and make sure that it's functioning properly. Looking good. Thing comes up pretty quick actually. Trim 8 switch down there is going to be coming on. Turned our nose wheel steering on. You have to bind that. Avionics master switch is now on. Inertial reference system is getting up to speed. Testing our toe brakes. Looking good. Flight instruments check. Altimeter check. ECAS display. Looking good. All we've got left is our anti-ice switch. Altimeter set to 30.18. And we'll go ahead and switch our taxi lights on. And we should be ready for taxi. Setting our trim to take off. So obviously there are quite a few things you can skip in the abbreviated checklist in order to get this thing rolling, but for realism's sake and what the operator of the T6 Texan II does in real life, I went ahead and ran through the checklist as required. As we head to runway 23, we will be joined by our flight lead here right in front of us to the right. I'll be following him all the way to Milford. Landing performance will be a subject we explore, of course. We're going to be making a quick stop over at Martins Bay as well to give a Texan a run for its money on a shorter mixed surface runway. But for now, we're off on a scenic departure to the west through some of the most beautiful scenery that Flight Simulator has to offer. Pilots, the approach into runway 2 at Martins Bay is a real treat, but in the Texan it was a little bit of a pucker factor though, I must admit. It's evident in the way this aircraft feels that it was designed to be that last step for young pilots before getting into something a lot faster. A super detailed manual, an easy to follow checklist, and a simple thrill to fly. All in all, it's a fun piece of software to have. It is of course not without its flaws, and I have high hopes that further progress is to be made. Despite any of those small hindrances, the T6 Texan II by Iris is, in my opinion, worth the coin. I'll catch you all in the next one.